Webb and the host of LitCentric Radio. Thank you so much for your purchase of the lesson Unlovable. So as you know, our lessons include text-dependent questions that you can download and put onto sticky notes. We also have some sticky notes here on some of our bridge charts, and we're going to talk about our bridge chart today. Now, in this book, we are focusing on inferring from evidence, and we're going to practice that skill a couple of times with students. And then at the end, I'm going to ask them to make a prediction and practice that skill even further. Now, through our reading of the book and with our text-dependent questions, we come to the creation of our bridge chart. Now, I have this partially filled out. This is something you would definitely fill out with students, but what you would have done ahead of time is your headers here. To have Alfred was unlovable. In your second column, new neighbor moves in. And in your third column, Rex squeezes through. That's hard to say. All right, so as students are kind of reviewing the text with you, we're going to look for evidence that shows that Alfred is unlovable. And that's definitely in the more beginning part of the story, right? I mean, the story really does have kind of three sections. So in the first part, to prove that Alfred's unlovable, we know that the cat is mean to him, the parrot squawks, the fish agrees. Alfred's kind of has some interesting features like his short legs and things that some people think are a problem, and other dogs definitely think he's superior. Now I'm showing students with this inference sticky note that based on all this evidence, now we have to make an inference about what the author is trying to convey to us, what message should we be taking away. And in this case, the message is Alfred believes he's unlovable. Because some characters, someone might tell them they're unlovable and they don't believe it, but in this case, Alfred does. So all this evidence, he comes to this conclusion. Now, in some of these inferences, your students might offer up a slightly different inference. They definitely will word it differently. You do not have to use these exact ones. You can word it on your own. You can take the ideas of your students. You make that decision or that call with your classroom. Now, moving on, before I move students from this column and into filling out this column, I would take a look at this idea that the new neighbor moves in, and I want to label that in a special way, and I've got a sticky note for that. This label lets us know that now we've got a turning point. Alfred believes he's unlovable. We've got evidence of that. Now the story is about to take a significant turn, and this is the event that turns it in a different direction. Okay, so I'm trying to explain that to my students. Then we follow the same process like we did in column 1 for column 2. What evidence do we have that goes along, or what events follow this turning point of this new neighbor moving in? So Alfred lied to Rex. They talked for hours. They have a lot in common. He's afraid to tell Rex the truth because he's afraid of losing that friendship. So all of those things happen as a result of that turning point. And now students, again, need to make an inference here. What does this mean, and what is the author trying to convey? In this case, Alfred is lovable, but only when he pretends to be someone else. That's the message that Alfred is internalizing and the author's conveying to us. Now, this next turning point that I label with my students occurs when Rex decides to squeeze through. Now, this is the point where we're going to stop working on our bridge chart and we're going to refocus on part of the text. Now, you'll notice that on my copy, I've got a little tab here and I've marked the page where I know I'm going to stop at that turning point. So unlike other books that we might read in LitCentric Radio lessons where we read the entire book multiple times before building our bridge chart, this lesson is unique because we read up to this point, we build part of our bridge chart, and we stop and we go and do our writing task and then come back and actually finish our chart together. So our writing task is asking students to infer in the way of predicting. So here, we're stopping students on this page before Rex reveals himself and they discover that they're both the same dog. We haven't revealed that to students yet. So we're going to pause here at this turning point and ask students to make a prediction and write that prediction as their writing task. Okay? So that may take us the rest of the lesson. It may spill into day 2, depending on the timing that you have and the age of your students. Then we're going to bring students back and we're going to complete the rest of the chart. Let's do it now. Here we are. Through the magic of video, we've completed our anchor chart. After students come back to share their predictions that they made, we go ahead and finish reading the story and complete the events that happen after the final turning point when Rex squeezes through. In this case, the response is that Alfred hides, They realize they're the same breed of dog, and Rex liked him anyways, even though he lied to him. They play together, and in the end, there's the idea of maybe they're going to go after the cat. You know, they're looking like they're plotting something together. And again, reviewing with students, all of these events make us infer that Alfred now believes he's worthy of love. We can see over the course of this story how Alfred's thoughts and feelings have changed in the beliefs that he has about himself, which is really the ultimate message that the author is trying to convey to us. So I hope you liked this example of the bridge chart and you try it with your students, and listen in on episode 4.